Okay, I'm going to teach you guys how to graph your results in Microsoft Excel from the Electromagnetic Lab 2. This is what the worksheet looked like, and I gave you your class results where they looked at the number of winds of the wire around the steel nail and creating a magnet and how many paper clips that lifted depending on winds and strength in grams. And I asked students to graph this physically, and now we're going to do it on Excel. Because out in the world of science, you'll be doing your graphing in Excel. So you always want to give your graph a title, Y versus X. And your X-axis is always your independent variable, which is going to be your number of winds, which we had 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. And then your Y-axis is your number of paper clips lifted. And then on graph 2, it would be the strength in grams when we use the spring scale. So let's start by opening up Microsoft Excel. You have this on your iPads already. First thing I like to do is give my new sheet a name. So let's first just write our names in the top here. And I like having my keyboard attached to do this. So if you've got your keyboard, go ahead and attach it so we can type in our names in the top cell there. And then we are going to, underneath that, title it. So give it a title, something like Electromagnet Lab 2 Graphs. And then come down a couple more cells, and you should be able to, up in the top here where there's a snowman looking, sideways snowman, you can save. Now, this is where you need to just save it, how you will remember it. And then put that in whatever folder you're used to putting it in. I'll put it in my SOAR 8 folder. And we'll save it. Okay, so that way your work's saved. Now, we're going to go back to our data. And if you see on that page one, I said example table, we need to make this table here with the number of winds on top and number of paper clips on bottom. So let's do that. So we're going to call this number of winds. And then right below that, number of paper clips. Okay. Now, if you like to come up here, click on the A and it'll highlight everything. You can do something to this whole thing. You can stretch it out by pulling on those two lines. You can stretch that in and out to make your column. Your vertical rows in Excel are called columns. Your horizontal rows are called rows. So it's vertically, it's columns, horizontally rows, labeled A, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in order to graph, we need our data here. So for number of winds, we had 10, 20, 30, 40, and finally 50. Now in the student example I gave you, if you look back at their table, at 10 winds, they picked up 5 paper clips. At 20 winds, they picked up 17 paper clips. 30 winds was 20 paper clips. 40 winds was 33 paper clips. And 50 winds was 39 paper clips. Okay, now that you've got your table, this is very simple to graph. But first we're going to come in here and stretch this out and highlight all of that. And then I like things to look nice and neat, so you can come in and make this table right here. You click on this button here and click on center, and that centers everything. And then while it's highlighted, click on your graph up here in your bar up top. Right there, borders, I mean. Click on borders and click on all borders. And then that'll just make it real nice and pretty when you print it. It'll be bordered off. Now we're going to highlight our data one more time. And then click on Insert up top. And then just go ahead and click on Recommended. But what we're doing is charts, and they already recommend which one you do. We want to do a line graph. So come down here and click on your bottom line graph, like that. And you can move it over to about right there. And remember, we want to title this. If you remember from our worksheet, what you want to do is title it Y versus X. And the Y is going to be, if you remember, we want our X to be our number of wines, which is the independent variable at all times when you're graphing in science. And the Y is going to be number of paper clips lifted. So we need to title this number of paper clips lifted. You just double click in here. Number of paper clips versus number of wines. And that's our title. Now we can check our work. The computer graphs it for you. So you can kind of check your coordinates and see if it matches up, and sure enough it does to our data. Now we want to insert an X and a Y. So go back to Insert, and you'll see this little text box up here. Well, you have to click off of the graph to do anything. So you can click around over here somewhere, get off of your graph, and go to Insert Text Box right here. And this puts a text box in. So you want to label it number of wines or number of paper clips, whichever you want to do first. You have to do both X and Y axis. So if you forget where that goes, you go back to your worksheet and it tells you your number of paper clips is your Y axis, wines is X. So we did paper clips. So we're going to have to click on this text box like that and move it over here so I can see it better. You can shrink it, and then you can take it and rotate it. See this top arrow? It rotates like this. And then we can move the whole thing over to our y-axis. And then we're going to do the exact same thing with our x-axis. Insert, text box, number of wines is our x-axis. And again, click on your text box. Sometimes they can be a little finicky. Move it, shrink it, and then you have to play with it a little. Then take it down here, and that's your x-axis. Now, I don't really like for it to print with the box around there. I just made the text box. So to get rid of that box, we're going to have to, let's see if I can remember how to do this. Shape, and then outline, no outline, and it got rid of your outline. So you click on that little text box, go to shape up here, and then where it's a little pencil guy outline, you scroll down and hit no outline, and there it goes. So now we've got a nice little data set from our Electromagnetic Lab 2. And that just graphed the number of paper clips versus number of wines. So what you're going to do is come up here, and you can copy and paste. If you go like that and you hold down, you can hit copy. And you can come down here and hold down and hit paste. And all you have to do is change your variable, which would be, now we need to look at strength in grams. So instead of number of paper clips, you're going to type strength in grams, and then that's different numbers here. So we're going to delete these and go to our table, and it says our strength in grams is 0, 10 for 20 wines. We had 20 grams of strength for 30 wines, and then 40 and 60. And you're going to go through the exact same process as I did up here to create your graph for number or strength in grams versus number of wines. Good luck. Hope the video helped.